Tonight on News 5 Live, Ernest Thompson and Isaiah Azueta have been charged for the murder of 71-year-old Contiki resident William Maxwell Smith. Both suspects have been charged with a raft of charges relating to the deadly home invasion. BCB Holdings invoked the bilateral investment treaty against Belize, and remembering Fitzy. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of GE Appliances.
Welcome.
GE Appliances are designed, manufactured, and tested for real life with long-lasting performance, which makes it a trusted brand amongst builders and homeowners. Design Depot has a wide range of GE appliances such as washers, dryers, refrigerators, ranges, microwaves, and much more. Manage your daily chores more efficiently with GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot, all in one place.
The Belize Tourism Board is looking for a catchy and creative jingle for its Civic Pride campaign. The campaign promotes values such as pride and appreciation for Belize, no littering, respect for our national anthem and flag, and protection of our resources, to name a few. Qualifying jingles must be 30 to 45 seconds long in MP3 format. The lyrics should be primarily in English, but can include phrases from other cultural groups in Belize, and must include the words Civic Pride and Belize. Jingles will be judged based on creativity, originality, musical talent, overall quality, clarity, and compliance with competition rules and guidelines. The winner of the jingle competition will receive a cash prize of $3,000. You have until April 17th, 2023 to email your jingle to pr@belizetourismboard.org. For rules and guidelines, call 227-2420, visit BTB's Facebook page, or email us at pr@belizetourismboard.org.
And there was yet another mass shooting Friday night. Police have been narrowing down suspects. Meanwhile, the president will be meeting with the victim's family.
Just leave!
I'm not leaving. You're pushing me.
My name is Natalie, and I'm a working mom with 2 small children. Before I got pregnant, there were never any issues about my performance at work. However, when I did get pregnant, the way I was treated made me feel that I wasn't welcome anymore in the workplace. And so I decided to resign for my health and for the health of my baby. By the time my husband and I decided to have a second child, I was working at a company that had policies that accommodate women who are pregnant and nursing mothers. For example, we would get time off to nurse our children. I feel lucky to be working for a company that does not discriminate against pregnant women or nursing mothers. I believe that all women in Belize deserve that right. And at the end of the day, we're all Belizeans and we should all be treated with respect.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Deja mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, April 12th. I am Sabrina Daly. Police have arrested and charged the two men for the murder of 72-year-old Belizean American retiree William Maxwell Smith, which occurred on Easter Sunday in San Ignacio. The accused are 59-year-old Ernest Thompson of Santa Elena Town and 29-year-old Isaiah Azueta of Contiki Extension. The men were jointly charged with 1 count of murder, 1 count of aggravated burglary, 1 count of dangerous harm, and 2 counts of robbery each. Ernest Thompson was additionally charged with 1 count of attempted murder, 1 count of kept firearm without a gun license, 1 count of kept ammunition without a gun license, and 1 count of handling stolen goods. Isaiah Azueta was additionally charged with 1 count of kept firearm without a gun license and 1 count of kept ammunition without a gun license. And police are still looking for several other individuals who they believe conspired with the two men to carry out this heinous crime. Chester Williams, the Commissioner of Police, gave reporters an update late this evening.
The investigation led to the arrest of Ernest Thompson, aka Seconds, and another fellow, Azueta. As I said before, in respect to those two individuals, those are the ones that our evidence indicated had gone to the home of Mr. Smith and perpetrated the aggravated burglary, which eventually led to murder. Police good work, again, led to these persons being detained and subsequent arrested and charged. We're still trying as best as we can to gather more evidence as it relates to those persons who may be the conspirators, because there are other persons who play a very important role leading up to that particular incident, and we have identified who those persons are. But right now we're working on the evidence, and hopefully by the end of this week we should be able to lay charges against other persons jointly with the other two for conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary.
So sorry, it was a criminal conspiracy then, planned and executed?
Yes, certainly it was a conspiracy by a number of persons, and then it was executed by those two individuals who went to the home.
In the wake of Easter Sunday's deadly home invasion in the Contiki area of San Ignacio, citizen security is once again at the center of public discourse. Notwithstanding a decrease in the number of homicides and other violent crimes when compared to the same period in 2022, the feeling of one's personal safety is being called to question. For many, the murder of 72-year-old William Maxwell Smith drives home the fact that they are not always safe inside their homes or on their properties. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa offered a unique perspective on the citizen security, as well as the ubiquity of amateur videos that show these heinous crimes being committed.
I've had the opportunity, growing up in Belize and seeing the crime trends, there's been an evolution, so to speak, and everybody, you're sitting here, Paul is sitting here, both of you are on your phones, seeing videos on the daily of crime situations. 10, 15 years ago, you never actually saw crimes that were being committed. And so if a home invasion or a murder happened or a robbery happened, you did not put yourself into the shoes of the individuals that are actually going through that. And so I think that in terms of the media, in terms of social media, and us being in tune with it now, what is happening, I think that definitely heightens the sense of what is taking place, because like you rightly said, the numbers are down, but we don't necessarily feel safe, and that has a lot to do with the fact that we're seeing it, and so you live it now, and that to me is one of the key differences. In terms of 20 years ago, you would never have seen murders happening right before your very eyes and in such seriously heinous fashion. And so I think that is the main difference that has taken place. But in the first quarter, again, if you look at the statistics, it is down compared to last year, which is a record year. So the trends have been going down.
The Belize Police Department, as well as its counterparts in law enforcement, is yet to identify the location of a suspected drug plane that is believed to have landed in southern Belize over the Easter weekend. Despite the deployment of air assets to survey the area, they have not been able to determine where the aircraft touched down. Suffice to say that it was last detected near the Belize-Guatemala border in Toledo District.
In terms of our the information that we have received from our neighboring countries and partners in this narco-trafficking war, they are saying that their radar detected, not last night, I think the night before, a low-flying plane in the Toledo district in the southern part of the country, and it faded off the radar. They have a mechanism where they're saying it is somewhere around the border of Belize and Guatemala, but they cannot see it. And so yesterday, I know that the BDF did a flyover in the area, and they were not able to detect it either. But that is not enough for us. And so today we sent out our SPU team. It's very highly vegetated area, very rugged terrain. But we sent out a team of SPU officers into the region where it is speculated to have landed. And so we have not gotten a report back from them as yet. It's a very rough trek into the jungle. But as soon as we get that information, we can share it with you. But no plane as of 2:45 today, no plane has been found.
41-year-old Jermaine Horse Garnett has been in the news on numerous occasions as a criminal being arrested and charged, and later as a reformed gang member who has been working closely with the Leadership Intervention Unit. But when his name came up on the police blotter recently for his alleged involvement in an aggravated burglary at Serenian Bay, many were taken aback by the news that Garnett had relapsed into a life of crime. He was just on the news in January, speaking highly of the LIU's late director, William Dawson, who served as a mentor. Earlier today, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa spoke about the unfortunate situation.
He was one of the individuals employed on the work team, I think from the area of PIV. And so that was very disconcerting for me to learn. And so obviously any individual that chooses to continue a life of crime, they cannot be a part of the LIU program. And so that is sort of the line that is drawn in the sand, that we are going to offer you educational, skills training opportunities, employment opportunities, any other type of service that we can provide. But at the same time, there is that respect that you have to give back, that we acknowledge that if we are to be a part of this program, we cannot then continue with a life of crime. And so there is certainly no rewarding any bad behavior, bad actors. And so anybody that is convicted or charged or a part of a criminal offense cannot be a part of the LIU program.
A police officer in St. Bai Village filed a report against the brother of the Commissioner of Police, Arthur Williams, accusing him of defamation through a social media post. Well, the report reached the desk of the Commissioner of Police and he gave his officers green light to detain and charge his brother. Compal Williams provided further details.
I was notified indeed that there was some complaints, and it reaches me, and I said to the police, if it is that he have violated the law, then you must do what needs to be done. The fact that you are the brother of the commissioner does not make you immune from liability if you break the law. And I think that the police officers did detain him, and he was to be charged. I've seen some of the video footages that he had posted on social media, and I myself find them to be very offensive. And so the police just need to do what needs to be done. I can tell you that even me, sometimes he blasts me too, right? Often. But many times. But that's the nature of him. He's my mother's child. I cannot disown him. He continues to be my brother.
Coming up, BCB and Prize Holdings initiate international arbitration against Belize. Find out the details when we come back.
John and Kate, I checked your results. You cannot have children. I'm sorry.
Department of Human Services, how may I help you?
Yes, my husband and I wanted to know more about the Heart of Gold adoption program.
Yes, of course. I'm glad you called. Well, let me tell you more about the Heart of Gold program.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
1. Introducing DigiOne Bundles. Bundle your home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value. DigiOne. Digi, our national telecom.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
From Corozal to Toledo, Belize is a melting pot of cultures. Travel with us as we take you to a different part of the country each week in a special series called This is Our Belize, People, Food and Culture, brought to you by the Belize Tourism Board. Starting March 15th, watch the episodes on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. on the National Channel and the Belize Hotel Association Channel, and at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 5, and Fridays on Love TV at 7:30 p.m. Episodes will also premiere on Thursdays on the Belize Tourism Board's Facebook page and YouTube channel. This is Our Belize, People, Food and Culture.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
By just building these two homes, we are achieving more. We're starting to create communities. Government's responsibility is to cater for those that can't handle themselves, and that's what this program does. It gives you an opportunity. It's a head start in life.
I'm a young mom. I own the home now, I own the land, and it gives me a sense of stability. I mean, when I get older and my daughter come along, it will be something that will be handed down to her. I'm grateful, I'm happy, because I never think this is something when I get accomplished this early, but yeah, I'm quite excited.
I no longer have to worry about rent money and landlord standing at your gate at a certain time of the month. It makes it even more gratifying feeling to know that this is yours, this is your home now, and you have that to carry on with for your children.
Here we are building good, decent homes that will last a lifetime, that will transform the lives of our citizens. And that's what is important. That is what gives me great satisfaction as the area representative and also as the Prime Minister of this country.
Safety is a cornerstone of peace of mind. And for a long time, the Belize National Fire Service has been doing our best to help ensure the safety of the Belizean public. We see that there is more we can do. This is why we have embarked on certifying firefighters to also be able to provide emergency medical services to the communities that we have been proudly serving. This means that we can now assist with both fire and medical emergencies with efficient time. We went even further and created the 990 Communications Center, an emergency dispatcher service developed for quick responses to fires, accidents, and health calls. This service is already presently available for the Cairo region. Just dial 990 and the first question you will be asked is, 990, what is the address of your emergency? You see, if we don't know where you are, we can't get you the help you need. Stay on the line and continue to answer the questions of the dispatcher. They will use the Beacon app to give real-time updates to emergency responders as they approach the situation and will be prepared to serve you. The Belize National Fire Service, the U.S. Embassy of Belize, and Belize Heroes have partnered to make emergency medical services available. We ask for the public to partner with us and call 990 for emergencies. You are help until help arrives.
Belize is headed to international arbitration following a claim that has been brought to British Caribbean Bank Limited and Prize Holdings International Limited. Both companies are affiliated with Lord Michael Ashcroft. The notice of arbitration was filed on April 3rd and lists Prime Minister John Briceño as the respondent. This is in respect of government's refusal to permit environmental clearance for the proposed expansion of the Port of Belize Limited, as well as the construction of a cruise port terminal. News 5's Isane Catano reports.
Under an agreement for the promotion and protection of investments signed between the governments of the United Kingdom and Belize in 1982, the British Caribbean Bank and Prize Holdings International Limited have filed a notice of arbitration against the Briceño administration. Invoking the bilateral investment treaty succeeds government's refusal to grant environmental clearance for the proposed cruise port terminal and bulk cargo facility project at the Port of Belize. In January 2022, a letter was delivered to the government of Belize indicating that if both parties could not arrive at an amicable agreement within 3 months, the principals of the Port of Belize would have the right to submit the dispute to international arbitration. This falls under Article 8 of the Bilateral Investment Treaty. Another letter was sent to GOB a year later, making note of the developments since the notice of dispute. By then, however, the matter had already been compounded and made worse. Prize Holdings International Limited is registered in Turks and Caicos, a British overseas territory, and owns the Belize Port Limited as well as the Port of Belize Limited exclusively. As such, it indirectly owns land and infrastructure in and around Port Loyola and the Port of Belize through its subsidiaries. In September 2022, Prime Minister John Briceño told reporters that it was Lord Michael Ashcroft's right as anyone else to take government to arbitration.
That's his right. I mean, anybody can take us to arbitration. In this case, I don't think it's arbitration. He said that he was considering, and he's not done it so far, suing government using the treaty between Great Britain and Belize about, for want of a better word, freedom for investments. And he felt that he was that Waterloo was not being given a fair shot. And that's his right, like any other citizen, but in this case, him being a British citizen also taking advantage of that treaty that was signed by both countries.
In December 2022, Waterloo Investment Holdings, which at the time was the parent company for the Port of Belize Limited, launched an appeal of the Department of Environment's decision to refuse environmental clearance for the port expansion project. At the time, Prime Minister John Briceño, who is now listed as the respondent in the matter, told reporters that government could not uphold the present circumstances at the Port of Belize.
We have to wait until I think it's the 21st, probably today. Up to today, I think the Port of Belize have, or Waterloo, time to appeal the judgment. And so we want to wait and see what will happen. But certainly we cannot keep the status quo at the Port of Belize. An investment has to be done to fix if there's no cruise terminal, the port or the container/cargo terminal has to be upgraded. That's not a matter of if it will be done, it has to be done either by the receiver or a new set of investors would come in, or if government someday may add this. We are not there. We are not. The important thing is that we need to finish off whatever it started, the process.
BCB and Prize are represented by a battery of lawyers from Essex Courts Chambers and Clifford Chance LLP, respectively, both based in London. Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.
Last night, we told you about the untimely passing of ASP Fitzroy Yearwood. As we reported, Yearwood passed away after suffering a massive stroke over the weekend, which left him hospitalized and unresponsive. Many were hoping and praying for his full recovery, in spite of the negative prognosis, because he had faced a similar medical situation before, which he overcame. But that was not the case this time around, and his death has left many reflecting on his life, including members of the Belize Police Department and the media. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Assistant Superintendent of Police Fitzroy Yearwood was the communications director at the Belize Police Department up until the time of his passing on Tuesday evening. ASP Yearwood suffered a massive stroke on Holy Saturday that left him hospitalized and unresponsive. 2 days later, unfortunate news of his passing surfaced. Tonight, he is being remembered for his stellar service and infectious personality. We spoke with Karim Musa, the Minister of Home Affairs.
ASP Fitzroy Yearwood was only 47 years young. And so this definitely came as a devastating, a sudden and untimely loss for the police department, and I'm certain for his family, and I want to extend my condolences to his wife and his children and his entire family, the entire Yearwood family. Fitzroy was so many things to so many different people. Of course, you all know him in his PR capacity, and likewise the rest of the country know Fitzroy from his nightly reports on the news representing the Belize Police Department as a master communicator, really.
Over a decade ago, Yearwood was featured in an I Am Belize profile where he spoke about his battle with diabetes and pancreatitis, which at the time landed him in the hospital in a critical condition. In the interview, he recounted the near-death experience and his fear of not living to be at his children's graduation ceremonies.
When the doctors told me that I might not live and this is the only procedure that could save my life, I kind of had some difficulties accepting what was in front of me, and this was that if I do it, I still might not live, and if I don't do it, I surely won't live. So I had to deal with all that, and then they began bringing in the Anglican priests. They brought in people to speak to me. I kind of began to prepare myself for what would have been at that time the inevitable. Just in the event I didn't come out, I mean, it was hard to even think that I wouldn't be able to see my children probably graduate from primary school, high school, and even college. I mean, it's something that you just, I don't know, it's out of this world to describe. Going through this experience really changed me because, yes, medical officers can do their best, they can try all sorts of procedures, but if the Almighty is ready, you, no matter what they do for you, nothing will help you.
Following his recovery, Yearwood left working in the field as a police officer to serve in the department's press office. That is where he became the face of the Belize Police Department and a staple in the nightly news. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke highly of Yearwood's service to the country in his capacity as communications director for the department.
When I became the Commissioner of Police, I saw the need to have someone who can be a good intermediary between the police and the media, and I could not have thought of anyone better than Fitzroy. He have that charisma, you know, that touch that the media loved about him. I know at times, yes, you have your differences, like with any other relationship. You do have your differences at time, but he was always one who was always willing to facilitate the media. Sometimes I would see even late at night when something would happen, he would post on the media blog and brief you all. And sometimes I would call him and say, "But Fitzroy, why did you brief the media this hour at the night? Leave that for tomorrow." He said, "Boss, I just want me to know what happened." And I said, "Okay, Fitzroy, no problem." But that was the type of person that he was.
Isani Cayetano, the news director at Channel 5, encountered ASP Yearwood a little over a decade ago in a professional capacity. Since then, they have had numerous interactions both on a professional and personal level.
When I look at perhaps our Monday morning meetings where we go over to the Raccoon Street Police Station, despite the fact that sometimes we would wait for an inordinate period of time, when Fitzroy comes around, even if we were a bit ticked off for waiting outside for that length of time, he brings a certain spirit to the room that you no longer feel ticked off. You're running a joke, he's always jovial and what have you. There's a picture that him and I took, I would want to think towards the end of last year if I'm not mistaken, where it's ironic that we were both at a funeral for a mutual friend of ours, you know, and I reflect on that image because, you know, despite the fact that we know of his medical history, one would not have thought that, well, for me, that would have been the last picture that him and I took in that particular gathering, celebrating the life of another friend of ours who had passed. And so I just look at that and I reflect and I say, you know what, life is really short when you look at it from that point of view.
We prayed, but at the end of the day, God took him home, and who are we to question him? He knows best. Perhaps the good Lord need a PR officer beside him to communicate with him, and so we will see the good messages that will be coming to us from the Lord through Fitzroy.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
ASP Yearwood's death has brought into focus the need for police officers to maintain good health while working long hours in often stressful environments. Today, Kareem Musa, the Minister of Home Affairs, and Chester Williams, the Commissioner of Police, weighed in on the issue.
When we took over office 2.5 years ago, that is something that certainly stood out for us in the Belize Police Department and the other security forces as well. Like you mentioned, it's a very high-stress job. And so we at the ministry have been doing our very best to encourage our officers in terms of better nutrition, in terms of utilizing the gym. We reactivated the over 40 football team so that the officers could get their exercise in. And recently we signed an MOU with the Ministry of Health, which I think is truly groundbreaking because it covers over 500 police officers from the Belize district in particular. We obviously would want that to extend to the entire 2,000 police officers in our ranks. But that is a good start.
We're seeing a trend where many of our young officers are dying to diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. And I also stressed to them in my message this morning to ensure that if it is they are suffering from any of these illnesses, that they take their medication as prescribed by the doctor. Many a times we have these officers who are suffering from these chronic diseases and they don't take the medication because if they might be feeling well. And my thing to them was not to take nothing for granted. Even if you're feeling well, please take the medication because something can change drastically within a matter of seconds. And that medication is what you're going to need to save you. I also touched on the issue of healthy living, meaning ensuring that they take at least half an hour every morning to work out. Staying in physical condition is important.
After the break, FFB introduces Women U20 National Team. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Walk running rebels were at the Civic Center. They put a beating on our outside brother who are trying to defend the city. But it's now time that big brother, your Belize Belize Hurricanes, avenge this thrashing for our siblings and make the rebels respect the city.
Let's go. All around.
This Friday night, April 14th at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp. Basketball is back from its Easter break when the #1 team in the BEBL, Belize Belize Hurricanes, goes up against the hottest team in the land, the Orange Walk Running Rebels, where your Hurricanes is about to put a smacking on running rebels. This game may be a finals preview. It gets no bigger than this, where your lengthy team, Belize Belize Hurricanes, led by the tall Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, Alex Kakama, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Greg Buckley and Marquise Cunningham, go up against the wide Orange Walk Running Rebels, led by Big Brian Beso White, Elvis Oliveira, and Matthew Young, in a battle dub that's length versus width. The Bad Boys are back! Bring out the entire family this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center to see your city favorite, Belize Belize Hurricanes versus the Orange Walk Running Rebels in a battle for the #1 seat.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The halftime show will feature a half-court shot to win $4,000. Remember to sign up for the Serena Bay Villas First 5 $4,000 contest. Primary schoolers and high schoolers, bring out your posters and compete for the $500 prize. Lots of phone and tablet giveaways, courtesy of Smart and Cellular World. The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa has been assigned to a cabinet subcommittee chaired by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration to address the rampant smuggling of Haitians and Jamaicans through Belize to North America. Under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, Article 226, the Minister of Immigration has imposed a visa requirement for Haitians wishing to visit Belize and for Jamaican nationals to provide evidence of non-refundable hotel reservations ahead of boarding flights to Belize. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa further explains.
As far as I'm aware, Jules, and I believe this came up as well in Cabinet yesterday, there has been no move by the Belize government to impose any restrictions. What the government said is that it will consult with the Ministry of Tourism on the way forward to see whether or not we need to impose these types of restrictions. And it's not any serious restriction. I believe it has to do with providing proof of your hotel stay and things like that, which is very common between countries. And I think it's all due to the fact that as a Caribbean country, we are the only one that is actually attached to the mainland that can get you to the United States of America. And so other Caribbean countries aren't faced with that issue that we have, because as you know, Uncle Sam is looking at us and saying, oh, you're clearly allowing passage for these passengers to come to Belize and then to move on to the United States, which is absolutely not the case. But at the same time, they are looking at that very closely in terms of your human trafficking tier ranking and that sort of thing. But it is all about ensuring that we are putting mechanisms in place that is not meant in any way to be adverse against any particular country or region or anything like that. It's just for us to make sure that when you're coming to Belize, you're actually coming here to stay for whether it's a few days as a tourist to see the country or what have you, but not to move on to another destination.
Where does the Minister of New Growth Industries stand on the shelved marijuana legislation? While we were with him earlier today, Minister Musa also shared his views on the cannabis industry and the proposed legislation that would legitimize the cultivation and sale of cannabis in Belize.
If you look at marijuana and compare it to other jurisdictions, how far we have gotten. In other parts of the world, some of it is medicinal, some of it is non-existent, and some, in very rare situations, are adult use consumption. We managed to pass the legislation, not just in the House of Representatives, with the opposition support. Your good friend, the Honorable Shineborough, is on record as having passed the legislation himself. So it passed the House of Representatives, and in the Senate, it received the support of the opposition as well, which was able to, which made it pass through both houses, and it was merely for the Governor General to sign it into law. I think that has gone a long way compared to other countries like Mexico, who is still fighting for them to have the legislation passed. When I communicate with one of the lead advocates for cannabis from Mexico, she always says, wow, you managed to get that far And like you're saying, it's probably dead, but I don't believe it is dead, Jules. I think that whenever the government can afford to have a referendum, whether it's on this issue or oil drilling or both combined, I am confident that the legislation will pass after that referendum because I believe that the vote would be yes.
Is Deputy Commissioner of Police Dr. Richard Rosado next in line to become the top cop in the Belize Police Department? His political boss, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa, says yes and explains the system that is generally used to appoint a new Commissioner of Police. This is against the backdrop of 3 senior officers holding the rank of Deputy Compol.
I believe our current Commissioner of Police sort of debunked that rule. Perhaps he was the exception to the rule because if I'm not mistaken, he was merely an Assistant Commissioner of Police who jumped other DCPs to become the Commissioner of Police. But that might be the exception to the rule. But what is your question?
So,
is there a seniority?
Yes, is there seniority?
I would say in terms of the date of your appointment, yes, but you don't get the title Senior Deputy if that is what you're asking. Okay. You don't get a special title.
Good. So there's no Senior Deputy. Is there, though, within that seniority, however muted it may be, however muted the notation may be, is there in that, though, a direct path to succession? Mr. Williams has been there 3 years now, and so you know, it's not often that commissioners last 5 years, and I think he has indicated that he wants to leave by 2024. I think that was his indication. Is there any clear path to succession amongst these DCPs?
We have currently 3 deputy commissioners. So Dr. Rosado is one, Bart Jones, who is a trained attorney, is a second, and then we have Mr. Aaron Guzman, who is the 3rd deputy commissioner. I believe Mr. Guzman will be retiring next year in 2024. And so what we're looking at right now are the other 2 DCPs. I cannot say that we have decided who will be the next Commissioner of Police. That's not a discussion myself and the Prime Minister, myself and Cabinet have had as yet. But certainly that those 2 are the lead runners, so to speak, to become the next Commissioner of Police.
Okay, now are you concerned, you know, both these gentlemen have stellar academic distinction?
Yes, they do. To me, what matters the most when it comes to being the head honcho, so to speak, of the police department is your ability to properly manage. Not just in terms of micromanaging, you have to do your best so that you don't micromanage and that administratively everything at all the various levels of the department is operating and functioning in the best way possible.
This morning, the Football Federation of Belize officially introduced the Belize Women Under-20 national team at its headquarters in Belmopan. The team consists of 19 athletes from across the country. They are preparing to represent Belize in the Under-20 CONCACAF qualifiers in Managua, Nicaragua at the end of May. We heard from Wayne Casimiro, the head coach for the national team.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be in charge of the U20 women's national team that is representing us in the CAF U20 champion qualifiers in Managua. It has been a tough journey for us. We have our ups and downs. We have players coming, players going, but at the end of the day, our focus is to continue to have players develop as individuals and as a team. And through our class sessions, our training sessions, everything that we do is geared towards developing players holistically. Football covers 4 pillars. There's tactical, technical, physical, and what's the other one? It's like the social or the emotional, social part of it. And that is key for us because unity is strength, and we always speak of developing a team that is truly a team.
When we return, art, culture, and tourism. World champion body painter in Belize.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The last time we visited Miss Francesca Howers was to deliver the exciting news that she was chosen to receive a home sponsored by SMART for its 18th anniversary through the Hand in Hand Ministries housing program. Since then, she has actively been participating in attending Saturday sessions to improve her life skills, cleared her property for its foundation and construction of her home, and has assisted in the construction of a home for another recipient of Hand in Hand housing program. All these activities are to foster a more responsible, responsive citizen in our community.
In 2018, I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was at the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days. And after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, it's just it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. It'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
The last time the Orange Walk Running Rebels were at the Civic Center, they put a beating on our outside brother who were trying to defend the city. But it's no time that big brother, your Belize Belize Hurricanes, avenge this thrashing for our siblings and make the rebels respect the city. This Friday night, April 14th at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp, basketball is back from its Easter break when the #1 team in the BEBL, Belize Hurricanes, goes up against the hottest team in the land, the Orange Walk Running Rebels, where your Hurricanes is about to put a smacking on running rebels. This game may be a finals preview. It gets no bigger than this, where your lengthy team, Belize Hurricanes, led by the tall Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, Alex Kakamo, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Greg Buckley and Marquise Cunningham, go up against the wide Orange Walk Running Rebels, led by Big Brian Beso White, Elvis Oliveira, and Matthew Young, in a battle dub that's length versus width. The Bad Boys are back! Bring out the entire family this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center to see your city favorite, Belize Hurricanes versus the Orange Walk Running Rebels in a battle for the #1 seat.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The halftime show will feature a half-court shot to win $4,000. Remember to sign up for the Serena Bay Villas First 5 $4,000 contest. Primary schoolers and high schoolers, bring out your posters and compete for the $500 prize. Lots of phone and tablet giveaways, courtesy of Smart and Cellular World. The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city, love the game. Family, Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
World champion body painter Trina Mary is in Belize as part of her body art Lost in Wonder series. Mary is renowned for camouflaging locals into famous iconic sites around the world, such as the pyramids of Giza, Machu Picchu, Petra, and Chichen Itza, among others. Mary's parents live in Belize, and she has been encouraged to do a series of locations in Belize, promoting art, culture, and tourism. News 5 caught up with Mary at Altonha, the third of several locations where she is transforming her models into art. Dwayne Moody reports.
I became a body painter by accident. I actually got struck by lightning while I was working in Hollywood, and I went to the woods to kind of get away from all the electrical lines and was painting in the woods. And my friend's band invited me out to come see their show, and they asked me to stand on stage and actually get body painted, like be the model and experience body paint for their opening act. And I was like, absolutely not. No way I'm getting on stage. After having a couple of nice little cocktails, I found myself on stage having the most amazing experience of my life. It was an entirely life-changing experience. If I hadn't been struck by lightning, I would not be the body painter that I am today. So I am so grateful. Even when bad things happen, good things come out of it.
World champion body painter Trina Mary is in Belize for 2 weeks. While it is an opportunity to visit with her parents who have retired and made Hopkins their home, this time around, Mary is visiting iconic locations across the country for her body art Lost in Wonder series, Belize edition. Today we caught up with Mary at Altonha. This is her third stop. Earlier this week, she painted a model at Cerros and Lamanai Maya monuments.
I am going to be doing some really amazing sites. So I got to collaborate with the Institute of Archaeology today, which is an amazing honor. So grateful to them for this opportunity. But I'm also going to be doing a lot of other collaborations with like the Maya Center at a cacao farm. I'm going to be body painting on a boat in the river. We're going to, my dad has a captain's license. We'll be sailing out to the Bread and Butter Key to snorkel and body paint. So it's just these really beautiful moments. We'll be body painting at the Mayflower Bakawina National Park, which is an amazing site. I got to do a beautiful painting there in front of a tree of life, and this time we'll get to body paint at the waterfall, which I'm honestly so excited about. So there's lots of really fun collaborations with Hot Mama's sauces and body painting at her site and learning more about the, you know, just the Mayan culture. That's what I really want to embrace in this series is not just a beautiful place, but what is the culture? Who are the people behind these amazing places? What is the history? And how can I best show that through what I do?
Trina travels the world to paint locals into iconic locations. It's her way of bringing art, culture, and tourism together.
Although I am not Belizean, my family does live here, and I am a tourist, so I want to attract other tourists, of course, to come to Belize, and so I want to help the businesses and the beautiful locations here in Belize, and I am blessed that I have some platforms to share that on and to collaborate with other people that have those platforms.
News 5 caught up with 2 of the many models being used by Mary for this project. American Airlines employee and art and model Rebecca Lucha and Shaniki Hernandez from Punta Gorda.
So I was super excited, just being able to be a part of this. Like, I couldn't even believe it, but I'm so happy to be able to, you know, show my country.
When Trina started talking to me about this trip, I was like, I've never gone to Belize, and her family lives down here, and they know, you know, the culture, and they just can show us so many things. And I minored in archaeology in college, and so I mean, I've studied all the different kinds of ruins from different cultures all over the world, and I've never seen any Mayan ruins or anything like this, or been to Central America before, so it's very excited. It feels very spiritual. Last night or yesterday afternoon, we were at Lamanai, and we were at the Mask Temple, which is a tomb for, I guess, one of the ancient rulers. And it was just, I was standing on this stone that was like right outside where there was the mask behind me, and just the temperature was perfect. We were in the shade. You could hear the howler monkeys and the birds, and just like, I was standing there like this, and it was just like a nice pose, and I had to keep my eyes closed since she was painting my face. And it was just, yeah, I was transported like to 2,000 years ago, and I was just like, oh my God, I got chills a couple times.
There is a beautiful energy exchange that happens with body painting, because there is electricity flowing from one person to another, and there is a very beautiful unity between myself and my subject. I feel, especially when I come to an amazing site like this gorgeous ancient Mayan ruin, that these people are connecting with me, that I can, body paint was such an amazing part of the indigenous Mayan culture. And so from an art history standpoint, I feel super honored and connected to the people that lived and worked here, and their amazing, beautiful culture, and feel like so privileged that in the contemporary art world, I can carry that through in my own expressive practice.
For those who speak of cultural appropriation, Mary says it is an opportunity to educate about traditional Maya culture and Belizean culture on a whole.
I'm trying to infuse as many partnerships with Belizeans as possible. So I am taking the gift that I have to elevate them and help them have a platform to tell their stories. Mayan body painting is so beautiful. It has this beautiful rites of passage. So not only were people body painted to kind of distinguish between what they did or the different tribes that they were from, but it also was really beautiful, especially for women, to showcase like, this is a coming of age moment. Now I'm married. Now I'm having a baby. I'm an elder in this community. So for me, it really tells a very personal, intimate story of who are these people, and with each marking that I put on the body, I'm hoping to also tell the story of who are these people that I'm painting. I just want to kind of facilitate that.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
In 2015, Belize signed on to the 2005 UNESCO Convention on Diversity of Cultural Expressions, which encompasses the cultural and creative industries. As a result of our ratification, Belize must submit a report to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, on the status of our diversity of cultural expressions. In order to get the information, the Institute of Creative Arts today wrapped up a 2-day workshop with cultural stakeholders and creative entrepreneurs aimed at getting their feedback on policy, on what programs we have. News 5 stopped in at the Government House, where the event was held, and spoke with Director of the Institute of Creative Arts, Kim Vasquez, as well as Sylvia Batty, the National Coordinator of the event, to find out where we are and where we want to be with preserving our culture.
This is the second time we are submitting the report. What is different this time is that, as I said, we're doing it in this manner, where we are engaging and consulting and meeting with all of our stakeholders. This is just the start of it. This is actually a capacity building, a training workshop for the national team that will elaborate this the report. And then we will then launch it to the public on Saturday, because we want the public to be aware. We want to be open that this is what we're doing, and then we will continue to work together as a national team to put together that report. So there'll be some more surveys. We'll be continuing to speak to our cultural stakeholders to gather information on what we see being implemented and how we can assess and how we can plan for the future as well. Why should we care about culture? Because it is important. It is a fabric of who we are. It can very much contribute to economic development. We know that we have a vibrant and growing creative and cultural sector here in Belize, and we need to build more awareness, and we need to give support as well, both as government agencies, but we need to engage as well with civil society, with individual artists. We need to really work together in a spirit of community to give support to the cultural and creative sector. Of course, we must acknowledge as well the support of our Minister of Culture, Honorable Francis Fonseca, who is very supportive of this initiative, as well as the Belize Secretary General for UNESCO, Ms. Areni Palacio.
We have a cross-section of artists, artisans, statutory bodies are here and present, and so we're really, really appreciative of having that wide cross-section of people. So we have a lot of key actors that are currently working within that cultural and creative industries. So we have BTB present through their cultural specialists. We have Beltrade. We have the Institute for Social and Cultural Research. We have the Houses of Culture, which do fall under the Museum of Belize niche. We also have some independent artists. We have some person representing private sort of cultural museums. And so really a cross-section of different actors that are really working within these industries. So some of the conversations, we just had a really sort of interesting roundtable discussion where we realized that a lot of us are working within the same industry. We are doing the same work. We maybe use a little bit of a different language, but we're moving toward the same goal. And so when you look at the diversity and the cross-section of the different ways in which culture is sort of represented in Belize, we have the same goal. We all want to look at that vibrantness, that richness of what is Belize and represent it, whether that's locally, regionally, or internationally.
Bate says that even the artists and artisans of all walks of life are urged to attend Saturday's workshop so they too can have their voices heard in the report and give their views on how Belize as a country ought to be heading culturally. That all-day event will also take place at the Government House, as the National Coordinator advises.
On Saturday, we have the culmination of this 4-day workshop, and so the Institute of Creative Arts, through their social media pages, is circulating an invitation already. And so we are inviting all persons within that cultural and creative industry to come out for a community consultation meeting. So this is where we present what the national team will be, who are elaborating this report. We will present on some of the work that we have been doing over the past 4 days. And we will also, very importantly, allow spaces for different persons who maybe were not able to attend this meeting to really contribute and give input and have their voices heard within this process. And so it's open for as many people as possible. So whether you are a traditional craftsperson, you are from a cooperative, you are an artist, you're an artisan, in music, film, in the media, you're all welcome to come to the Government House, House of Culture, Saturday, I think that's the 15th of April, starting at 9 a.m. and sort of to be within the space where you can have this dialogue collectively and you can really contribute to having your voice heard within this report.
A group of 73 Pathfinders Master Guides returned to Belize after attending a one-week camp in Jamaica. Their journey to and from the religious camp is a story on its own. Nonetheless, the delegation got to meet Olympic champion Usain Bolt. The camp is a space for networking with other young people across the region and to learn skills similar to that of a scout. They camped and prayed and celebrated from April 4th to the 8th. Today, the final group of the delegation touched down at the PGIA, and News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Just before 11 o'clock this morning, the final group of Belizean Pathfinders Master Guides who traveled to Jamaica on an 11-seater private plane returned to Belize after participating in the Seventh-day Adventist World Church Camporee. The event is held every 5 years, and this year, 73 Belizean youths made the trip, where over 12,000 youths and their leaders from across the region engaged in a one-week camp.
Pathfindering is similar to Boy Scouts, which, we teaches them about discipline, about knot tying, how to set up tents, and various things so that they can able to have that as they grow up as a young man or a young lady. And so we were grateful because we are people that believe in prayer too, and the Lord answered our prayers. It was about for them to understand how special they are and for them to network with each other. That's important. Doing pin trading, and at the same time for them to know that there is various friendship that they can able to carry on in life, okay? And of course they receive, preaching of the word, and at the same time, sporting events. By the way, they were able to meet with Usain Bolt, and so there were various activities that took place in Jamaica representing Belize.
But the mission was not without its obstacles. 3 days before the event, there were transportation issues getting the delegation to Jamaica. A missionary pilot living in Carmelita Orange Walk District did 7 trips back and forth to carry the delegation safely to Jamaica and Belize. Jeff Sutton says it was 28 flights in 2 weeks, but it was worth it. Round trip is 5 hours.
Since I got my pilot's license, I dreamed about doing mission work. It's my passion. You could do other things in life. A lot of people say, well, why don't you fly corporate jets and things like that? But I like to fly my people. I'm a village boy, and I like flying village people. It's so much fun. We get like loading up in Jamaica right now. I've got tents, and things are in just sacks and garbage bags. And the wealthy, there's $30 million jets around you, wealthy people walking around doing their thing, and it's so much fun to just be a blessing and know that what you're doing is making a difference in people's lives. I've been doing this for 20 years. I live in Carmelita. We have a volunteer training center there. We train young people in mission. The plane I typically use to transport volunteers and supplies and logistics all through Central and South America. So this just kind of fits right in with that mission. It just happened to be an intense, a couple weeks of a lot of flying.
18-year-old Stephen Garbott has been a Pathfinder from the age of 11. He's from Independence and shares his experience at the camp.
It was very fun, to meet a lot of new culture and different countries and to get to meet other people. It was very fun to interact, and also you see the pins. This is what you call pins that we use to pin trade. And while pin trading, you get to meet other people. I started Pathfindering when I was around about 11 years old. Yeah, so it's quite some time now. And it's very fun. You get to learn new skills, how to make fire. You learn how to survive, and it's very nice.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Up next, British chess grandmaster plays against 20 Belizeans simultaneously.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, Share more memories with friends and be ready for the day with Smart.
It's a highly sophisticated board game that is popular across the world. Today, the British High Commissioner hosted 20 Belizean chess players and British chess grandmaster Nigel Short, who took them on simultaneously. It happened this evening at the British High Commissioner's residence in Belmopan, and News 5's Marian Ali was there and filed this report.
You've probably tried your hand at a game of chess and liked it, particularly if you won. But that wasn't the feeling these 20 Belizean chess players had, having gotten a thrashing from British chess grandmaster Nigel Short. He took on all 20 of them today, and up until the time we left the match, was winning them all. The Belize Chess Federation's Vice President Joshua Baiza has been playing chess since 2010 and teaches the game to young players, but today he was no match for Nigel Short.
I can't say it went bad. I mean, I had fun. The most important thing is that I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I went bad. I lost. I won't say that I won, but I enjoyed the game, and it was a tough match. I mean, he's a grandmaster. Basically, he has a rating of over 2,000, so I'm nowhere near that. So it was pretty much decided already who's going to win.
Was it harder than you expected, though?
Not necessarily, no. I kind of already expected more or less how difficult the game could have been. So I had already prepared myself, but unfortunately, I made a mistake. He caught up on it and he capitalized on it, and therefore I'm one of the first ones to lose among the executives.
An event like today is nothing strange in other parts of the world. The British High Commissioner to Belize, Nicole Davidson, said she was ecstatic when Nigel Short contacted her office with the proposal.
I was familiar with him because he was very famous in the UK when I was growing up, and he's got this role with the International Chess Federation. He emailed me a couple of months ago and said that he was coming to Belize and would I be interested in helping him out in some way. So I said, sure, use the space here, and that's how it came about, working with the Belize Chess Federation to organise today's match.
Today's players ranged in ages from 7 to 30s. Rashid Blades was the youngest. The Federation's media specialist, Luis Mendes Jr., says that it is players like Blades who participates in tournaments that the Belize Chess Federation seeks out to take part in major events.
I really wanted to win the Grandmaster now, but all in all, we did a selection tournament before this, and the guy from Mexico, Sebastian Fuentes, won first place, and I was the first runner-up as a Belizean player now. So we held it at the George Prize for Peace and Development in Belmopan, and now we're here in Belmopan as well at the British High Commission playing Grandmaster Nigel Short. So to put it into perspective, we had the top 15 players from that tournament play, and we had 5 females, and also we had some other special invited guests that were not part of the selection tournament, right?
Joshua Baiza says that chess enthusiasts can follow the Belize Chess Federation's Facebook page for information on the latest chess events. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.